Sometimes the people we are meant to protect are the ones who show up when we least expect them. That morning at the livestock auction, Eli thought it was just another dusty day. He did not know his life was about to change because of a crying little girl in worn-out boots. The sun had just started rising behind the hills when Eli stepped out of the barn, his boots crunching softly on the gravel. A thin mist floated over the fields, and the horses stirred in their stalls, waiting for him like they did every morning. He moved slowly, calm and quiet, like someone who had done this 1,000 times. Feed the animals, check the fence line, fill the water trough. The same routine since his brother, Luke, had passed in that rodeo fall 3 years ago. After that, the house had gone quiet. Too quiet. Eli did not mind the silence anymore. It was easier than talking about the ache in his chest. The animals did not ask questions. They just needed care. He wiped the sweat from his brow, looked out over the empty pasture, and whispered, "Another day, same as the last." But deep down, a part of him wondered, would anything ever change? The auction yard smelled like hay, dust, and old leather. Eli stood near a pen, watching a man bid on a stubborn young colt. The sun was sharp above, but the noise around him blurred into a dull hum. Then he heard it, a soft, shaky sob. He turned. Behind a stack of crates, half hidden in the shade, sat a little girl. Dirt on her cheeks, scuffed boots, and eyes red from crying. "Hey there," Eli said gently, kneeling down. "You all right?" She sniffed, hugged her knees tighter. "I am Maddie," she whispered. "Mama left. I do not know where Daddy is." Eli looked around. No one seemed to notice her. His chest tightened. He did not know why, but in that moment, he could not walk away. Eli looked at Maddie, then pulled his hat a little lower over his eyes. Someone will notice her, he thought. Maybe the auction folks. Maybe the sheriff. Someone else. His hand moved toward his phone, but he stopped. "I am not a father," he whispered to himself. "I am just a rancher, a man who knows horses." Something inside him trembled. The more he looked into that little girl's eyes, the harder it became to turn away. Still, he took a step back. Not from her, but from what he was starting to feel. He was scared to care. Eli sat on the edge of his truck bed, phone pressed to his ear, the dusty wind brushing past him. Maddie sat quietly nearby, still hugging her knees. "June, I do not know what to do," he said. "She says her name is Maddie. No one is coming for her. I am not. This is not my kind of thing." Miss June's voice came warm and steady through the speaker. "Eli, sometimes we do not get to choose who needs us, but we do get to choose who we become." He stared at the sky for a long moment. "I hear you," he said quietly. And for the first time that day, something inside him felt just a little less heavy. Eli opened the truck door. "Come on, Maddie. You can stay at my ranch tonight," he said softly. She looked up, unsure, then nodded. The drive home was quiet. He kept checking the mirror to make sure she was still there. Back at the ranch, he warmed up leftover stew, poured her some milk, and set a blanket on the couch. Maddie ate slowly, eyes still wide but calmer now. After dinner, he took her outside to meet the horses. She reached out and touched one gently, a small smile breaking through. Eli stood nearby, hands in his pockets, watching. He was nervous, terrified, even, but proud. He had taken a step he never thought he could, and somehow it felt right. The next morning, Eli made oats for Maddie and got to work around the ranch. Maddie stayed quiet, watching the horses from a distance. Eli thought, maybe she just needs time. 2 days passed. Slowly, Maddie began to speak more. One afternoon, when she placed her hand gently on a horse's nose, Eli saw a softness in her face he had not seen before. "What is his name?" she asked. "This one is Rusty," Eli replied. "Pretty stubborn." Maddie smiled. "Like me," she said. That night, they sat at the kitchen table. Out of nowhere, Maddie asked, "Did your mama leave too?" Eli's spoon paused midair. "Yes," he said softly. Maddie looked down. "Mine did too. Daddy stays busy. Sheriff work is important." Eli felt something shift in his chest. He had told himself he was just helping, just keeping her safe for a while. But now, he realized he was starting to care. Deeply, he was not just giving her food or a place to sleep. He was seeing her pain, and she was seeing his. And somewhere in that quiet, honest bond, something real was growing between them. The sheriff's truck pulled up fast, tires kicking up dust. Eli stepped out of the barn, heart pounding. Sheriff Dalton slammed his door. "Where is she?" His voice was sharp, eyes wild. "Where is my daughter?" Eli stayed calm. "She is inside. Safe." Eating pancakes. The sheriff looked like he might explode. You had no right, Eli. I did not take her, Eli said, voice low. I found her. Alone. Crying. She did not want to go home. Silence. Sheriff Dalton's shoulders dropped just a little. She thinks I do not care, he muttered. She is wrong. Eli felt the weight of it all. He could feel Maddie's fear. He could see the guilt in Dalton's eyes. He knew this could get messy, but one thing was clear. He could not pretend anymore. He had to stand for what felt right, even if the law said otherwise. Inside the ranch house, tension filled the room like thick smoke. Maddie sat in the corner, hugging her knees, silent. Sheriff Dalton stood stiff by the doorway, arms crossed. Eli stood between them. You think I do not care about her? The sheriff snapped. I work every day to protect this town, for her future. Eli took a slow breath. But what about her present? The sheriff's jaw clenched. Eli's voice shook, but he did not stop. She does not need more rules. She needs her father. Not the badge, not the uniform, just her dad. Dalton looked away, blinking hard. Eli stepped closer. She was crying at the auction, scared and alone. And what broke me, Sheriff, was not that no one came. It was that she expected no one to come. Dalton's shoulders dropped, his face pale. You are right, he whispered. I have been failing her. Eli nodded, feeling the weight lift, even just a little. It hurt to say the truth, but saying it was the bravest thing he had ever done. And somehow, that truth made room for healing to begin. Sheriff Dalton sat down on the wooden chair near the kitchen table. His hands covered his face. I have not known how to be a father since my wife left, he whispered. I thought if I worked hard enough, kept the town safe, maybe that would be enough. Eli stayed quiet. Some truths did not need answers. Maddie stood frozen for a moment, eyes wide, heart pounding. Then she rushed forward and wrapped her arms around her father. He hugged her tight, like he had been waiting for this moment for a long, long time. I am sorry, he whispered into her hair. I see you now, baby girl. I see you. Eli looked away, but his eyes burned. The sheriff stood, turned to Eli, and said, Thank you. Just one word, but full of pain, honesty, and something new, hope. And in that quiet room, Eli felt a small piece of his own heart begin to heal too. Eli stepped back onto his porch. The sun was lower now, casting long shadows across the fields. The ranch was quiet again, just the wind, the fence creaking, and the distant call of a bird. He looked at the empty chair where Maddie had once sat, swinging her feet and asking about horses. His chest felt a little hollow, but not heavy, not shut tight like before. He was alone, but no longer closed off. Eli took off his hat, ran a hand through his hair, and whispered, Maybe someday, someone will sit there again. And this time, he would be ready. 3 days later, a knock echoed through Eli's quiet ranch house. He opened the door to find Sheriff Dalton holding a warm pie and Maddie clutching a piece of paper. We were hoping you might join us for Sunday dinner, the sheriff said gently. Maddie smiled and handed Eli the paper, a crayon drawing of him standing beside his horse, with the words, My friend, written at the top. Eli stared at it, his throat tight. He had never known how much he needed this. Not just thanks, not just kindness, but to be remembered, to be welcomed, to be part of something again. Eli stood by the fence at the local stables, watching a small boy learn how to guide a pony with gentle hands. Just speak soft. Horses listen better when you are calm, he said with a quiet smile. Behind him, Maddie laughed, chasing a butterfly near the barn. She came every weekend now. Eli's heart felt full in a way he had forgotten. He was not just teaching kids to ride. He was giving them something he never knew he needed. Care, patience, time. Love had come without warning. And now Eli knew. Sometimes, giving is what heals you the most. Sometimes the heart forgets how to open, until someone small and brave reminds it how. Eli thought he had lost everything that mattered. But in helping a little girl find her way home, he found his own again. Have you ever had someone unexpected change your life? Share your story below, or send this to someone who has been your Maddie or your Eli. You never know who needs a reminder that love still finds its way home.